Welcome back to the Open Mic Broadcast Network and this week's episode of After Further Review. We have with us Coach Heist Northern. Coach, how you doing today, sir?
Man, I'm doing good. Getting ready for homecoming season. Trying to see what my Jaguars going to do this weekend with a tough opponent. Then I'm going to see what the Panthers going to do the week after that. Then Gramblin's homecoming is this weekend, so I know my sister's trying to wait and see what they gonna do. You know, I keep up with them as well, but you know that's more her school than it is mine. Even though I do have a degree from there.
Right. Well, we gonna talk about these Southern Jags, and you know, congratulations. You know, they're winning ugly, okay. And like we talked about prior, I'll take an ugly win and a good loss.
Hey,
right.
It's a whole lot of people that stay employed on the collegiate and professional level with ugly wins. Those 2 and 3 point wins that you get where nobody thought you gonna get it or you deserve it, or you know you have a full turnover game and you win by 2 or 3. As a head coach or any coach on any level, you will take those and like I say you'll fix the mistakes later, but you'll take that win right now.
Absolutely, and when you look at the transition that's going, all programs are seeing with transition, that's in particular the quarterback's position. And, of course, you got new coaches all over the place. And, yes, it's a new day, exciting time, but there's still an adjusting period. Now, some adjust faster than others, and I know it's due to the language used and terminologies and understanding what is and what's not. At this stage of the season, should it not be a little bit more advanced than what we're possibly seeing from some of these programs?
No, I'm going to say no, because when you say advanced, in my mind, you're thinking we should be past a certain point, but you can take another step. But sometimes the next step is not what you need. You need to get better at what you are doing. So, for example, I will take Pine Bluff quarterback. So he doesn't play the best football, but he plays meaningful football. Their offense is not very sophisticated. It's what some people call zero reads or one read step. So me knowing their offense, I know that sometimes when they break the huddle, Coach Hull is his offense coordinator name. That's the guy I've been knowing for a while. If it's one-on-one to the backside and there's no safety over the top, he is throwing the ball to the one receiver side no matter what you do front side. You know, he's look, my guy is better than yours. The other thing is they run some zero read screens, what we call zero read. That means if I got trips to one side and you only have 2 receivers or 2.5 DBs or 2 DBs, the ball is going outside, and they try to make the safety to that side make the play on the receiver that gets the ball. So people say, "Oh no, we need to get past it." Not if that is still working. Now that may hinder the development of your quarterback, but that's the best thing for you to do in order for you to win football games. So, like I say, you can say advanced, but you look at how many quarterbacks on the western side. This is their first year starting. Besides Crawley, everybody else is pretty much a first-year starter, even though the kid at Grambling, Texas Southern kid started a couple games, but he's not the best passer of the football. Everybody at Prairie View is new. Pine Bluff quarterback is pretty much new. Southern's quarterback started 1 game last year, and he was a transfer, and he wasn't a starter to begin. So, you know, it's a whole lot of young quarterbacks playing. So you're going to have the ups and downs, the no, touchdown plays type of stuff like that. So, like I say, it's a lot that goes into advancing. But I think a lot of coaches, if you're still winning, you're going to keep coaching, but you may not even add a new play unless you see something that you know for sure your quarterback can handle and you know for sure it's going to give your team a distinct advantage.
Okay, and I try to simplify as much as I can, whether it's doing a show, game performance, or just life period, right? And I understand that you want to use certain terminologies and sayings to throw off anyone from stealing your plays or understand what you're going to try to do. But to a degree, while you're busy trying to create schemes and deceptive acts and motives for creating success, isn't it just better to go on and just execute and do what you do regardless of what you call it and the terminologies that you're using?
And that's the thing that I say. So just I'm gonna use you for example. You are a big Prairie View football fan. It's some people that almost no matter where Prairie View play, they gon' go to the game and watch the game, and they can say that the offense is too predictable. If you go watch the same team play, just say 7 games, 5 games a year, you're going to see the same plays over and over. If you watch the very good football team, they run the same plays out of different formations, change the motion, run it from right side to left side to right side, all those types of things. So I think that's what we want to see, creativity. But in your creativity, you don't have all day to practice those plays that, as a coach, I might say, oh, I know a play that's going to kill them. I know a play that's going to get us. But if you can't teach it and teach past the first option, you're going to be dead in the water. How do I protect it? What's out if I'm on offense? How do I protect for this pass play that I know going to work? What's my hot route if they blitz? What's my hot route if they play, or what's my read if they play cover 4? What's my read if they play cover 3? What's my man beater in that? So it's a whole lot more that goes into, I saw such and such run this play on them, if you don't just have physical dominance. Like just say the wide receiver from Pine Bluff just had physical dominance the last couple of games. And he can do that against anybody. So if you don't have a guy like that can handle football, and from what I understand, that kid has he played quarterback in high school. So to me, that explains why he may have a very high football IQ, because he came from the quarterback position and he understands coverages and leverage, all that type of stuff. But you got to get more into it than just, let's be creative, let's do this, that. I saw somebody else do it, let's us try to do it. Nah, it don't work like that.
Right. Well, and that's, I think, part of the problem in football in general. It's copycat divisions. Well, I don't care what level you're on. They see this school is having success. Well, we need to implement that as well instead of working with what's accessible to you, available to you, right? And my question is, Coach, and like I said, I'm trying to play, I guess, devil's advocate or whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm in the stands and I'm watching my team, do their thing or whatever they got, and from my perspective, you might agree to disagree with this. I know for a fact this season there are 2 games that I can just say Prairie View literally got outplayed. When I say outplayed, I'm not even counting Michigan State.
Mm-hmm.
Well, actually 3 games that I know they got outplayed. They got outplayed against Texas Southern.
Mm-hmm.
They got outplayed against Incarnate Word.
Mm-hmm.
They got outplayed against Pine Bluff on last Friday.
Mm-hmm.
You cannot deny what Pine Bluff was able to execute on the field. And a lot of people are up in arms that this is that and that is this. We got to give the other teams credit for success because they do come to win and play the game as well, right? But when do you say, all right, we are not as good as we thought we were, and we got to just salvage and work out the best what we got?
Well, the not as good as we thought we were is the tough part, especially when you come in with high expectations. Like I said, I know a couple years when I was the head coach there, we may have come in with the highest of high expectations, but at the same time, we may have had APR penalties where we couldn't practice a couple of days out of the week, or nobody knows that. And I'm not going to just say at some schools, just say at Prairie View for this year, if they only had 20 players in summer school, nobody knows how that affects the team not having kids in summer school. So it's more to it than just what you see on Saturdays or Friday night. So it's a lot more into it. But like I used to tell guys, nobody cares about that. All they want to say is we won or lost, and if you lost, whoever your coach is, the head coach, is the worst coach in the world. If you win, he's a genius. So it's stuff like that. And then that can change from one play to another. That's more 1 week to the next. So there's a lot more that goes into winning. Sometimes, like I say, if a kid makes a long field goal and wins the game, you got to give that kid credit. It ain't all bad coaching. Now, it may be some bad coaching or bad play throughout the game, but it's not all, in my opinion, it shouldn't fall on one person, even though, just say I was the face of the program, I got to take the blame for whatever happened, even if a assistant coach makes a decision, oh, you should have overruled it. You know, it's all the kind of stuff that goes into it. But, you know, like I say, we're in a microwave society, first and foremost, but people, and it's bad to say, people don't care. All they want is wins and losses, no matter what you went through, what the team is going through, who gets hurt, how the injuries affect you, what coach got this going on. It's a whole lot more to it, but people don't see, people don't care, and like one coach used to tell me, some of them don't know that they don't know that, and when they don't know, that makes it worse. But when they don't know that they don't know, that makes it doubly worse. So you thinking you know what the problem is, but 9 times out of 10, you really don't as a fan. And there's nothing against fans, but I think just the times that we in, it's just a little bit different. And everybody want to win, but a lot of people don't want to do what it really takes to win.
Right. I'm reminded, it was a Labor Day Classic, playing at NRG Stadium. You were the head coach.
Yes,
and
sir.
Purdy just made a heck of a run, a comeback. And
yes.
actually, the kid miskicked the ball, but it looked like he tried an onside kick.
I know exactly what you're talking about. That's a nightmare right there.
Yeah, that was an absolute nightmare. And man, what was Coach Northern thinking? And I got to be honest with you, Coach. I said a WTF myself.
Yes, sir.
But when we talked that Monday or whatever the next time on, he said, Mike, man, that kid just miskicked the ball. I didn't call for no onside kick. But
who would do that in that circumstance? That's
right.
The thing.
I know, but you know, but you what I appreciate about that, you just took it, man. You just took it. You didn't even try to justify it and say, hey, it's just bad. Man, ain't no way anybody that has a bit of a football IQ would have called for an onside kick at that time. He just miskicked it. And when you looked at the Texas Southern game, Southern did not block the punt.
Hey, I'm sitting there watching it, and I said the same thing. I was like, man, he kicked or miskicked the ball into the Southern, like the Southern guy was running like, what the heck just happened?
Right. And so, but the thing about that is, now, me personally, if I was, you could have done a couple of things. And you're talking to the screen and everything. You're like, look, either take the safety or use your quarterback to punt on third down. Because at this point, I need you as further away from my goal as possible. And punting on third down is the element of surprise where you don't have the pressure trying to hurry up and get the kickoff.
So it's a couple things that, I talked about that they could have done. So we had a play that we practiced everywhere that I've been where we going to take a safety, but what we're going to do is we're not just going to snap the ball and have the guy take a safety. All my guys that's normally on the punt team, you're going to point to a guy and you're going to grab and hold him, and because you're going to get a penalty anyway. But what you're trying to do is make sure you burn as much time off the clock as possible. Like I'm talking about literally grab a guy, jump on his back, whatever you got to do to keep him from getting back there. That's what you do. And then you tell the punter, which sometimes when I was at Grambling, we would put either our best receiver are our best punt return guy, and tell him, catch the ball, run around a little bit, and when they get a yard from you, you run out the back of the end zone. And that was the literal play. Tackle everybody and burn time, and then kick the ball off. If you got a good punter, I like punting the ball because a lot of people don't have two good punt returners. And if you got a good punter, that gives you more hang time than a kickoff on the safety kick. So it's a couple of different things that they could have done, but I don't think anybody in a right mind thought what happened was going to happen. Now, sometimes as a coach, you have to think that, but nobody would have thought that kid was going to hit the ball. My word would have been giving them the ball back if you take the safety, because you're a baseball guy. Some people say you can put the game tying run on base, but never the game winning run on base. And that may have been there.
Barry Bonds.
Yes, sir. That may have been their philosophy, because if you take the safety, and no matter what you say, it's college football, you can score. If you push the ball downfield, which Noah can do because of his arm, he could have pushed the ball downfield and still scored, and you're behind because you gave them 2 points already. So it's a lot that goes into that thought process. There's a whole lot of jokes. Man, he should have took the safety. Man, a lot of them jokers in the same position with the safety. Punt it far as you can. They only going to have 20-something seconds left on the clock. Let's play some defense, maybe blitz them on first down. And
that's what I was thinking about, punting on third down with your quarterback. With that
and that's one thing. Now, we did do that before at Grambling. I say one time. I think we were actually playing Alcorn in the hole a long time ago, and we did punt on third down because we knew that they wasn't going to have anybody back deep, and our punter, our quarterback actually happened to be the second-string punter, so nobody expected that at all.
Right. And that just, just think, but you say hindsight is 20/20, but I still, sometimes you guess right, and many times we guess wrong, but if you happen to guess right, then you think you should have a head clipboard and the whistles and everything to use the charge. But like I said, you have what you have, and at this point, you're bubbled, and you've been in a similar situation like this. The most important thing right now is not to lose your locker room. Right?
Yes, sir.
What's your message right now?
The biggest thing, like I said, you can lose a game, you can't lose a locker room. And then sometimes you just have to talk to guys honestly. So just say if I'm on campus with my football guys, if they still let the coaches go eat in the cafeteria, which they did some of the time when I was there, I might just go sit in the cafeteria and talk to guys. Or it's like, hey, man, if you ain't doing that, stop by the office. Or I may tell my players back then, my coaches had to do class checks to make sure guys were in attendance. Like, hey, man, when you go do class checks, talk to such and such and see what's the pulse of the team. Or I might show up to the weight room as they walking out the weight room and say, hey, man, come talk to me. Let's go sit in the baby dome and talk, and you just talk to guys. What are you thinking? And ask the players, where do you think we were wrong? And, man, I would ask the equipment manager, girls or guys, the training staff, girls or guys, the students more than the adults, because some of those students that were working with the guys, they may have had more of an ear, like such and such said this, or, they thinking this. And then I may ask some of my older players that have been in good programs, all right, I'll ask guys straight up, if you the head coach, what you do? If you the defensive coordinator, what you do? Do we need to be more aggressive? Do we need to stop blitzing so much? And you talk to people about exactly what do they think can solve the problem and go from there.
Well, I know I'm a relic, and I'm proud of being a relic. That means I lived long enough to become a relic, right?
Yes, sir.
And this new age football, it stifles me, man. 4th and 1, why are we in a pistol shotgun formation? I'll never understand it. And on 4 minutes remaining, you're trailing, you're in 4-down territory. If you got a 3rd and 5, I'm thinking you need to run because you know you're gonna go for it on fourth down anyway. Now, if you go for a pass on third down, you miss. They know you can't do nothing but come for a pass on fourth down.
Well, most people probably gonna think they are passing. I ain't gonna say most, but pass on third is automatic pass on fourth. Run on third. If you're not getting anything in the running game, it's almost why am I gonna run into this brick wall? But the other part where you talk about, so unless you're running fullback dive from, and I think I mentioned before, if I'm in the pistol or shotgun and I snap the ball and hand it off to my running back, if I'm under center and I call a running play to the tailback, they get the ball at pretty much the same spot. So I think that's why some people do that. And then I laughed. I thought about you the other day. I was watching Alcorn and Grambling, and right before the halftime, Alcorn quarterback got under center to clock the ball. You know what that joker did, Mike?
What's that?
Fumbled the snap. Grambling got it back, and they couldn't get the field goal right before halftime. So, like, when that happened, I say, dang, that's why people don't go under center sometimes, even late in the ball game. So it's just, like I say, who would Alcorn ever coach would have ever thought in, his 20-something years of coaching that would have happened? No. But I saw it happen the other day, and my first thought was, Mike Prince over there talking about getting under center. But, it happens sometimes.
So there goes my coaching career, right?
Hey, man, hey. But, like I say, nobody would have thought that would have happened. You just think he going to take the snap, throw the ball into the ground, and lo and behold, Joker fumble, and they don't even get a chance for the field goal.
Lord have mercy. Well, you have what you have, man. That's coach say that's why you play the games. Mm-hmm. And speaking of play the games, your Jags are staying alive. Got some important games coming up, Coach. And how are you honestly seeing the Jags this season, sir? Honestly,
man, you know what? It goes back to what I used to say, man. Them dudes different over there. It's like because I've been there, I say they have a different mentality. If you don't overhand right cross knock them out, they think, oh man, I'm still in. We gonna find a way. Like, they still think that Prairie View is 80-game losing streak. Prairie View in Southern fans' mind, they still think that Texas Southern is not. They a basketball school, so we don't supposed to lose to them in football. We could lose to them in basketball or baseball every now and then, but it's like a different mentality when it comes to Southern and the Texas schools. It's a different mentality now, even between as many times lately as Prairie View has beaten Grambling. Grambling and Grambling fans still think Prairie View is 80-game losing streak, with it almost, in my mind, by now they should got past that because Prairie View won, say 9 out of the last 10 or something like that. So I think a lot of it just goes to the mentality of, if it's close, we gonna find a way to win in Baton Rouge. And like I say, they talk about a cat gonna land on the feet. Them jokers getting dropped out of a helicopter and landing on their feet. They ain't just falling off a table. They falling from real high and landing solidly on their feet.
Wow, I tell you, people acting like and feeling like that we at the 80 losing streak for PV Nation, but this too shall pass. I'm not liking it at all as a supporter. I'm what they call an undercover support. I support, but I'm known for criticizing, but that's okay too. Somebody got to do it to be fair, balanced, and equal, right? But it is what it is. When you look at the rest of the SWAC, right now it appears that Alabama State, who I was thinking was going to have a strong run, they are fading a little bit, but it seemed like FAM and Jackson are now trying to take control of that East.
Yeah, and we talked about it. If the quarterback play is the key to both of those schools, and if I would venture to say that if Alabama State had either one of the guys that played in the first game, Body or the other kid that transferred in, they would be in a much better situation than they are now, playing the young guys. So it's just the best quarterback play, even on the Western side, is getting up there. If you take, especially if you take away Bodies, interceptions or whatever. But the biggest thing is they play good defense, both schools. They play solid on offense, but they can get explosive at times. And they got the best quarterback play. If you had to rank all the quarterbacks in the conference, like just play from I'll just say week 2 to 3 to now, Florida A&M probably got the top guy, and it's going to be a good mix-up between Jackson quarterback, Alcorn's quarterback, and Pine Bluff quarterback in that second to fourth, fifth guy, and then everybody else quarterback. Then you're going to get way down to Bethune and the Valley quarterback. But it just all goes back to quarterback play.
Right, and you brought back when you said Alcorn's quarterback. We got stuck the last time we were together. The quarterback was Gibbs. That was
that's him. Yeah,
the kid out of Houston.
That's him. Booker T. Washington High School.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Gibbs was an outstanding ball player. Now, speaking of, it appears that the coaches and the SIDs had it right in preseason picking Alcorn to win the West. Man, they looking pretty strong right now.
Man, I tell you what, I wouldn't have picked them, but like I say, that's why I'm sitting here doing radio and teaching hunting classes and not in the media coaching. But like I say, they play right. And you know one thing they defense to me is them jokers scrapping, man. They get after the quarterback, they stop the run on the way to the quarterback. They give your quarterback a lot of different looks, but they play a good brand of football. And they don't turn it over a whole lot, and they can hit you with the big play at any moment.
Well, let me ask you this, Coach. I know we're getting close to the end of this week's segment. With all the coaching transitions and portal transitions, which program you think has adjusted the best and why?
Oh man, on paper I thought it was. And it's not over. I thought it was going to be Grambling just because of Coach Joseph. You bringing in Coach Dooley, who's had success everywhere he's been as a coordinator. You bringing in Coach Rollins, who was a coordinator at Tulane when they were very good. I thought they would have did the best job out of everybody, out of all the new coaches. But I think it's been, proven even, and I think the coach at Alcorn may have adjusted a little bit better because he had been there before and was already there. So his curve is a little bit different from the guys that came from the outside. It's been a while since Coach Joseph had been up there, but he's got a big name in the state of Louisiana. So I think you would have to say I'm going to get an edge to Alcorn. I really like Coach Hampton at Pine Bluff. If you listen to that joker talk now, he might can make me go out there and play some linebacker or something for him. If you listen, just how optimistic he is. But I think he's done a good job with a very young team. And I would say they pretty good. The only question is he going to be able to keep his young stud in Pine Bluff, Arkansas?
Well, he definitely wins the press conference each week. And before we wrap up, Coach, I'm getting a little rustic from my old puppies in the background here. What's your game of the week?
Shoot, hey man, if I didn't have to go to my son's game and have to be somewhere on Friday, my son played Friday, and if I didn't have to be at something with my daughter on Sunday, man, I would think about staying in Baton Rouge, missing Southern homecoming, and go watch Jackson and Florida A&M play.
Yeah, that's a good one. That's a real good one. And with that, Coach, I'm about to
is in the vet too. Like, man, I'm getting chill bumps sitting here thinking about games I done played or coached in the vet. It's a different ball game over there, especially if you got two good teams.
No doubt, and the atmosphere is going to be picture perfect, Coach, and should be exciting to see. But as I'm being crammed out here by this puppy love, Coach, I'm about to shut it down for this week and give you some closing thoughts and comments, sir, as we get ready to wrap this segment up.
Hey, man, I'm looking forward to another good weekend of football. I hope it was as good as last weekend for me with some wins by certain teams. There were some close games. Like I say, I had a chance to watch the Grambling Alcorn game. I watched the Prairie View game, even though they didn't come out on top. It came down to the last second. I watched the Texas Southern game. That came out in my favor. So it was some good football being played. You know, and people say, I say good games because it was close. Now, is it the best played football? No, but at the end of the day, it's some good teams, you know, scrapping, making good play. I'm talking about some one-hand catches, some hard hits, some devastating blocks. So, like I said, I love what I'm seeing. The Wild Wild West is Wild Wild Western, and you know the East got a big game this weekend. Now, is the Alabama A&M Alabama State game this weekend as well?
Yes, it is, Coach. As a matter of fact, it got bumped up to ESPNU, and
man, that would be a game I would like to see. Like I say, I'm gonna start creating my bucket list because I would want to go see that one. I want to go to a game. I've never been to Tuskegee. I would like to see a game at Tuskegee's home stadium. They got lights now. But, you know, like just certain classics in certain schools, I just like the environment. But I think it's going to be a good weekend for HBCU football all over the place. And I think Howard's homecoming is this weekend. I've actually coached against Howard for their homecoming a while back when I was at Morehouse. So it's some good football in HBCU land this weekend.
No doubt about it. And, Coach, we're looking forward